Bonjour et bonne année. Happy New Year. Today is all about passé composé and l'imparfait. Passé composé is the perfect tense, and l'imparfait refers to the imperfect tense. So first, the word tense in English is translated to temps in French. Quel temps fait-il? Okay, what's the weather like? Not to confuse with heure. Heure and temps are two different things. People tend to confuse those. Quelle heure est-il? What time is it? Tense is what certain languages, including French and English, use to talk about past, present, future. Passé, présent, futur. So in English, you have I speak, I spoke, I've spoken. So now that you know what a tense is, let's start looking at the different forms of French past tense. The perfect tense, or passé composé, is what is known as a compound tense, which means it is made up of an auxiliary verb plus the past participle of the main verb. That may be a bit technical, but it's the same as in English when you form the present perfect in much the same way. So for an example, in English we say, I have spoken. En français, in French, we say, j'ai parlé. J'ai parlé. The passé composé is used to talk about things that happened in the past. It's often used with past time phrases. So let's look at some examples. So in the first example, we have hier, then hier soir, lundi dernier, la semaine dernière, le mois dernier, and l'année dernière. So how do you form the passé composé? To form the passé composé, you actually need three things. You need the pronoun or a noun, such as je, tu, il. Then you need the auxiliary verb, such as to have or to be. So to have, avoir, or être. And then you need a verb in the past participle, like jouer or regarder. Okay, so let's do an example. The first example, nous avons regardé la Coupe du Monde hier. We have watched the World Cup yesterday. So, you have nous is your pronoun, and then you have avons, which is from the verb avoir, to have, and then you have regarder is from the verb regarder, er, infinitive, and it's in the past participle with an e accent aigu. Okay, so you have your three parts, nous, avons, regardé. And that's how you form the passé composé. So let's do another example. Il est parti hier soir. He has left yesterday evening. Hier soir is a past time phrase. The previous example, we use hier. So let's break it down in terms of our three parts. We have il, okay, is a pronoun. Then you have est from the verb être. And then parti from the verb partir. Parti is in past participle. Il est parti hier soir. Now let's talk about l'imparfait, the French imperfect tense. The French imperfect tense is slightly more complicated because it has no equivalent in English, either in form or in usage. Like many other aspects of languages, it's not that it's difficult, it's just different. The imperfect tense is known as the French past simple tense. So the difference between passé composé and imparfait, with passé composé you have an auxiliary verb plus the past participle. With imparfait, the form of the main verb changes, so there's no auxiliary verb. So we're going to look at some examples. There are four different cases when you can use imparfait. In the first case, it's used to express an ongoing action. Second case, it's used to describe someone or something. Third case, it's used to give an opinion. And the fourth case, it's used to express repeated actions or habits. So we're going to look at all four different cases with examples. So in the first example, les enfants récitaient leur poésie. The children were reciting their poetry. So you notice the main verb réciter, okay, it's conjugated in the third person pluriel, plural. Has a ent at the end. Réciter. So notice there's no auxiliary. Imparfait does not have auxiliary. It just has the main verb, changes. Okay, so here we're expressing an ongoing action. It has no clear beginning or no end. In the second example, à 7 ans, j'avais les cheveux courts. When I was 7, I had short hair. So here we're providing a description about someone or something. J'avais les cheveux courts. And the verb is avoir. Avoir is conjugated in première personne singulier. À l'imparfait, first person singular, avoir. So it's A-V-A-I-S, A-V-A-I-S. Okay, so there's no auxiliary. Again, it's just the verb in a different form. So in the third example, we have le match de football était génial. The soccer game was great. So here this person is giving an opinion about the game. Le match de football était génial. So we're using the verb être. Être in imparfait, in imperfect tense. It's E, accent aigu, T-A-I-T. Okay, so E with accent, T-A-I-T. Third person singular. In the fourth example, elle lisait tous les jours pendant 30 minutes. She used to read every day for 30 minutes. So in this sentence, we're describing a repeated action or habit. The main verb is lire. Lire is lisait. Okay, conjugated in the third person singular. So L-I-S-A-I-T. L-I-S-A-I-T, third person singular. Imparfait explains what happened with no indication of when it even ended. Passé Composé announces what happened, actions that were completed. Hope you enjoyed this lesson. Please like, share, and subscribe. And on se dit à la prochaine. Ciao.